we're just going to fire off some question and answers here of what she's really experienced with me. Tell the audience, Becca, about previous experiences that you have had prior to working with me.
Well, I have always been athletic, but I worked with personal trainers, I would say on and off for probably 10 years. I stayed with some trainers for a couple of years, so I was pretty athletic. I paid for online authors, celebrity trainers that I got one-on-one Skyping with and everything, and they didn't measure up. After I was with Jay for not even the first 6 weeks, I realized that what I had been doing for the past 10 years was going to the gym with no goals, and my body was messed up. They were telling me to do exercises I couldn't do, but weren't helping me to figure out why I couldn't or actually make progress with anything. I had no real goal. I was just kind of on a wheel. It was really ridiculous. So that was probably the biggest. And now I had paid for nutritionists. I never actually got nutrition training before. I got holistic nutritionists that I went to that did not want me to work out because of my autoimmune disease. So it was always a bad trigger. Doctors told me not to work out, but I need to. And I feel 20 million times better today than I did 5 months ago or than I did when I wasn't working out before. So it proves that you do need to do it.
You have to really think about people as people, and some people they just don't care.
Well, that's one thing you're really good at. Right before I started coming to Jay, I was having high creatine blood levels. I get infusions every 4 weeks for my autoimmune disease. They do blood tests. I kept having creatine and muscle enzyme levels coming back that were through the roof, which were telling them my kidneys and liver were failing. So they told me no more working out. They told me to have muscle biopsies done. They told me to see a neuromuscular specialist. They thought I had a neuromuscular disease. I was done. I had been in and out of doctors for 5 years. I was finished. And I said, I'm either going to try and do this the natural, healthy way and work out because I need to for mental and physical health.
Right.
Since then, since I've been working out with you, since I have had the right diet, my levels have not spiked once.
Wow.
And I had like horrible spikes. Like they were calling me the day they told me to take my blood tests to say, do you feel okay? I think you need to go to the emergency room.
Holy crap. And what do you attribute stuff like that?
I wasn't eating right. I had seen nutritionists, but I was never eating right and I wasn't working out right for my body. So as much as I wasn't eating, garbage every day, I wasn't eating fast food. I went paleo. I lost 10 pounds. I felt like crap. No one ever sat down and said, this is your body type, and you explained to me, I need more carbs. I need carbs, I need low fat, and now I'm balanced. They were telling me to ingest lots of sugar before my workouts to avoid stuff. You showed me my sugar was high, and my body couldn't handle it. Cut my sugar back, ate the right amount, all my blood tests are fine. And it's basic.
Now she has learned about her body, she's learned about what nutrients her body needs, and this is affecting every aspect of her life, which is really, really cool.
Energy level was insane. 3 weeks in, energy level went crazy, and for anyone with autoimmune, it's fatigue. Your body's constantly fighting itself, so you're always fatigued. 3 weeks in, it's insane. It's awesome.
3 weeks in.
I think the best thing is you figured it out. I would show up, and it's, even now that I've been past 12 weeks, I'd come in and you would say, what's up? How are you feeling? Why are you feeling that way? And even if I didn't know the answer, or I didn't realize that I was doing something, you figured it out. And that's where you're good. You read people. My husband, completely different than me, but you did the same thing for him by realizing his triggers, and you must be looking for points or something. You have something that I come in, you go, what's wrong? You ask me a series of questions that I don't even realize I should be asking. And a couple minutes later, we go, well, look at your sugar intake. There's your answer. Lower that. Tell me how you feel. And 4 days later, it's like, oh, duh.
What health metrics, and you said some things, but what health metrics have changed for you? And be sure to tell about the good news your doctor gave you last week Friday, and why it is so freaking epic.
So the biggest thing before I came to you, I literally got done with probably a 3 to 4 year period of autoimmune, basically flare-up and medication rejection, which basically means the drugs I was on, my body would learn a way to trick them and they wouldn't work anymore. And for autoimmune diseases, that sucks. It causes inflammation. It causes killer fatigue. It affects every aspect of your life.
And tell people what the autoimmune is. Some people may not even know what this does to your body.
So I have two different types: psoriasis, which is a skin disease, I think most people know, and psoriatic arthritis. My body will see, for the arthritis portion, any type of inflammation. If I were to get injured, it will attack that as if it's trying to heal it. But once your body's healed, it will continue to attack the healthy joint, which results in loss of movement. It can cause all sorts of things. I've had, anytime I have any kind of scratch, or if I get an infection, my body tries to overheal it, which actually damages healthy tissue. 3 years ago, I lost vision in an eye for a couple months. Wow. It was horrible.
Wow.
So,
holy shit.
In the middle of all this, my doctor started telling me I have a muscular disease. I started dealing with all this other crap. I'm seeing nutritionists. I'm giving myself a shot once a week. I'm doing infusions every 4 weeks. We are now at the highest possible doses that I could be at. And I was running out of options. I didn't have many more, but I needed to be on it because if my disease gets out of control, I could lose movement in my hands forever.
Wow.
And my feet and everything. So I couldn't walk across the house. I was in so much pain.
Wow.
I came to Jay when my meds kind of leveled out, but they were still trying to trace down all these spiked blood levels. And I was done. My doctor, like I said, told me not to work out. He's telling me if I did work out, I had to eat a bunch of sugar before so that my body would be able to handle the work, I guess. And I didn't want to. I didn't like the idea of someone cutting open my leg and taking out muscle just because they thought there was something going on. So when I came to Jay, I was dealing with when I would go to work out, which I worked out on my own. I would do a lot of squats.
Yeah.
And everything else that I probably wasn't supposed to be doing. I was never deadlifting. But I would get home and I would pass out for hours. Or if I'd make it through a week of workouts, by the end of the week, my body was exhausted. I could not function. So it was it was bad. I loved working out, but I felt horrible. And then I see you watch my macros. We just sat down and talked for 2 weeks about understanding what my body was doing. And I felt better. And I'm working out. And I went in last week, I had my infusion. My doctor's now removed one of my 2 drugs. He's told me to keep working out. This is the same doctor that told me not to work out. He's now saying it's working. Keep working out, take a drug away, and in 6 months we'll reevaluate and maybe we can start to reduce the dose on your other. I was on a drug that is horrible for you, so it's wonderful. And you feel 10 times better. And it's just, you took the time to understand my body and not to say, you have this symptom, let's give you a drug. And that's unfortunately what most doctors do. I saw medical nutritionists, no one told me that.
Now, how have I affected your mindset?
Just crazy.
Tell them, man. I'm curious myself.
You are a contagiously upbeat, motivating person. And I think there's a lot of negativity just in general in what people deal with every day.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, even when I do have a day where I'm tired, I kind of laugh about it. I know I still tell you, I'm done, I'm fried. I worked the last 14 days. She does this all the time. I'm like, I'm done. And then I'll leave the gym like, whoo, look at all this energy. I'm ready to go. And it's just getting out of that mindset that you sometimes tend to get stuck in.
Yeah.
Plus, from just a process standpoint, I am here's a task, get it done, move on. Don't overthink it. Don't put anything into it that is unnecessary. You have taught me to be aware of the process and enjoy the process and your process. Stop trying to give yourself these markers because I realize I have no idea what my body's going to look like with muscle on it. It's not going to look like everybody else. So I have to start focusing on what I'm doing while I'm doing it.
Yes, not comparing yourself to anyone.
Right.
And that is the key, that your process is your process.
Your mindset at the gym changes. I still, as much as I'd worked out, as much as I thought I kind of knew what I was doing at the gym, I could still walk in, go to the weights, and I couldn't really focus on what I was doing because there's some level of intimidation from being in the gym around a bunch of other people lifting. And that's gone now.
Fair enough.
Because I go to the gym and I go, oh, Jay told me to do this, I better do this. Oh man, that was horrible. And I don't even care anymore.
Right, so knowledge of knowing what you're doing provides you the actual confidence.
It's crazy.
Interesting. The next question, What have you learned about your body on this journey? I mean, there's so
Everything.
much. There's so much.
That I was doing nothing. That I have muscles in my back that I didn't even know existed. My posture I knew was bad, but the entire time before I was sitting here like trying to do things. I had protruding scapulas from, they were like winged out. It looked ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was really bad, but
Yeah.
I sit at a computer and I drive, so that's my work.
Right.
And now you taught me a couple of movements and I have muscles I didn't know I had. And like I said, I've been working out for 10 years. I didn't know I had muscles on my back here.
That's
And now when
amazing.
I want to stand up straight, I go, okay, wait, Jay said elbows back and down, and oh look, I'm standing up straight. And I can get up from my desk in the middle of the day and do that. Whereas before, I would sit there trying to like
Figure it
adjust
out.
myself, and I didn't even know how to move my muscles.
See?
Hamstrings, my hamstrings have been horribly tight. You taught me the stretches for those. I couldn't deadlift before. I
Yeah.
would try to. I had trainers telling me to deadlift, and I would leave with lower back pain.
Yep.
I haven't had lower back pain since I started seeing you.
And that's mobility and flexibility has gone through the roof, and thereby her strength has also continued to increase.
Yeah, I'm balanced. The word you always say is balance.
Okay,
But I am
okay.
balanced, whether from a mental, nutritional, physical standpoint. I am
Right.
balanced. Plus, for girls, I no longer have a crease here of fat.
Ah.
If I look in the mirror and I see that, if I'm wearing a tank top, I go, oh, Jay, shoulders back, and then they go away. And it changes my total. I look like a different person. I think I'm also
See.
taller than my husband now.
Yeah.
Before we were the same height, and I'm pretty sure I'm taller because I'm not slouching.
How has your relationship with food changed? Holy
I have
buckets.
a bad relationship with food. My parents were very eat what's on your plate, and I developed some horrible food tendencies growing up. I am picky. I'm still picky.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that I was ever afraid to eat, but now I have a much better understanding when I eat.
What would you say the massive takeaway with food has been for you?
It's hard.
That's a hard one. I know it is. That's a tough one. That is a really, really evil question, actually. Because I have a lot myself that I can say that.
The biggest factor that's probably changed for me is just knowing that my body needs it in order to function. And appreciating that for what it is and making sure I'm putting what on my plate that I need. I have had my days where I have not eaten enough, and I can tell.
And you can feel it.
Right, and the next day I'm going, oh, but now that we have a goal and we're focused, food is now a tool. And I do still enjoy eating the foods that I enjoy. So it's not like there's been really any negative, but a better understanding that my body actually needs this.
Yes.
And it's important.
What do you believe has been your key to success?
I now understand that because I took the time to stop and listen to Jay and do what he told me to do, that I'm better off. It's a hard lesson though. Our
Wow.
world is too like instant. So that's the biggest. It's patience.
Now, what would you say to someone who is on the fence, to the person who feels they have tried everything but gotten nowhere, or who got somewhere but are not where they want to be? Some people have gone on a system, but they're actually worse off than where they freaking started.
That was me.
Yeah, so
I spent
like,
money.
what would you say to someone who doesn't even freaking know me, who has had professional after professional? They're like, listen, dude, I'm just listening to this because I dig this interview type thing right now. I'm not even worried about this because I don't believe in anyone anymore. Everyone has failed me. Like, what do you say to that person? I would like to know.
The person coming to you first has to be willing to sit back and listen. That was the hardest part for me, is in the beginning, have faith in the process. From talking to you for 10 minutes, I think people will get to see that you have the knowledge and you can apply it to them, which is the most important thing. Come in, be completely honest. Even if you have a 10-minute conversation with Jay, be completely honest. He is the only trainer I've ever sat down with where when I gave him an answer, he stopped me and said, oh no, that's an answer, but there's something more. And he made me sit there and think about it. And in some cases, I thought I was working out, like I said, but I did not even realize where I myself was lacking and what I was thinking about. And once you get started, be a part of the process. Don't lose that mindset. But you don't let people lose it. Like I said, you stop us and say, what are you doing? Why does that look so horrible today? And we figure it out. Talk to Jay.
Wow.
You will, within 10 minutes, be able to tell that he's not gonna hand you a PDF and say, do this workout, and here's your nutrition.
Amen. Actual coaching.
Yeah.
Actual coaching. Oh my gosh, it still exists.